folk at Engwe have sent me one of their X24 all-terrain e-bikes to try out. It's arrived in a massive box, so it's going to be easier to take it out of the box and put it together outside. Well, inside the box, the bike is very well packed and protected. They've definitely taken quite some care in preparing the bike for shipping, which is always good to see. So I'd always recommend putting anything like this together with good quality tools, but they do send you a nice set of tools. They're reasonable enough that you could get away with just using them. I thought I'd give it a go, but I did end up adding a few of my own tools. Set of nippers just to cut the cable ties, a small adjustable spanner because there are a couple of nuts that are smaller than the selection you've got there, and a smaller Allen key. You do need one smaller size hex key than the one supplied, and yeah, I just took a couple of my own ring spanners just for that last bit doing the back mudguard. There's this sort of pad that clicks on where a luggage rack might usually be. Well, there we go, that's all assembled now. A pretty handsome bike, I reckon. Well, it's actually about a week later now, and the bike's been sitting in the garage here since I put it together, but I'd really like to take it out and give it a bit of a test ride. So first thing to do is to fully charge the batteries. Well, the X24 comes with two batteries, both are 48 volts. One is a 19.2 amp hour battery, which is housed in the sort of crossbar part of the frame here. And the other is a 10 amp hour battery, which actually forms the seat post. Now, there are charging ports if you can park your bike near a mains outlet. There's one in the seat post there, and one in the frame here. Now, when you connect the charger to one of those charging ports, it only charges that respective battery. Both batteries do not charge together. So the first battery I'm going to charge up is the frame battery, and to do that you have to fold the bike up to get the battery out. Now, to do that it's relatively simple. You just slide this catch forward, flick this back, lift up the little bolt thing, and then the bike is quite heavy, but you can split the frame and fold the bike up. Now, that is as far as the bike folds, so relatively handy for transport, but yeah, not particularly compact. I'm just going to rest this on a bit of a dust sheet so it doesn't damage the chain ring. So there's a little lock here, and I believe if you turn that lock, you can then slide the battery out. There we go, that battery is now on charge in the house. Well, it's a much cooler day and it's a little bit drizzly, but I'm itching to get out and give this bike a bit of a try. I've checked the seat post battery and that appears to be fully charged, so that was delivered with a full charge in it, but the frame battery was empty. So I now have both batteries fully charged, but before we go out, let's just go through some of the specs of the bike. Now, apart from the dual batteries, one of the most distinctive things about the bike is the suspension. It's got triple suspension. It's got the front fork suspension here. It's got a frame damper here, and it's also got the air shocks on the back here. You can see they have got a little valve where you can charge them up and change the pressure of the air. I've left these pretty much as they come. The forks are adjustable both for preload and compression. Again, I've left them adjusted more or less as they come. We've got 8-speed Shimano Altus derailleur gears, and this sort of slightly unusual sort of back seat arrangement. Now, there are no foot pegs, so it would be slightly awkward to take a passenger for any substantial distance, and yeah, I think probably a luggage rack would be more useful, but it's a interesting feature. The bike I've been sent has got mud guards. Now, I've seen other reviews complain about the lack of mud guards, so maybe that's a recent addition and they've taken notice of people's comments. It does come with lights, both front and rear, and the rear light works also as a brake light, as does the little light on the back of the seat post. The electric motor is a rear hub motor, and it's a 1000 watt motor peaking at 1200 watts. And another nice feature is the front and rear hydraulic disc brakes. One slightly awkward thing is that the brakes are reversed, so what you'd normally expect to be the front brake on this side is the back brake, and on this side is the front brake. Got a little control panel here. You've got power switch to turn the bike off and on. There's a separate power switch on the seat post for the seat post battery. And the controller here gives you a number of different modes. You've got normal mode, sport mode is only briefly accessible, and you've also got a battery indicator, which at the moment 100%. And you can flip between different modes. At the moment it's telling you sort of power output. Not sure why it says 38 watts, because we're not actually doing anything. And obviously the main part of the display, you've got speed. Now, because this bike has a 1000 watt motor and an independent throttle, it doesn't meet the EAPC requirements to be ridden in the UK like a normal bicycle would be. Other areas have different rules, so check the local rules in your jurisdiction. But regardless, this is marketed and sold as an all-terrain bike, so I'm going to find some nice off-road areas to give this a bit of a try. Well, I've certainly christened it. That is going to need a good old clean up and wash off now. Well, that was a relatively short test ride. I think I probably covered around 6 miles in total. But I think the terrain we were on was the sort of terrain that you're likely to be using this bike on in the UK. I've seen other reviews of people in California going through nice vineyards and people on lovely sunny beaches testing these bikes out up on sunlit alpine mountainsides. But I think here in the UK you're much more likely to be on a muddy farm track, so I think this was a very good test for this bike. Now the main takeaway point from my test ride on this bike is really just how much fun it was. Given the legal restrictions, I think if this bike has to be about anything, it has to be about pure fun off-road. And yeah, I had an absolute blast riding this. I could easily have stayed out longer if time had permitted. It is a really comfortable bike to ride, even on that rough ground. The triple suspension really smooths everything out. And I think the big balloon tyres work really well to help with smoothing the ride out as well. And the saddle's pretty nice and comfortable too. Now the mud guards that came with the bike did a pretty good job of protecting me from mud and water and stuff being splashed up from the wheels. And of course I did get wet and muddy, you'd expect to, doing that sort of ride in that sort of conditions. But yeah, a very welcome addition are the mud guards. There was plenty of stopping power in those hydraulic brakes, no problem at all, stopping very quickly. In fact, you can lock up the wheel very easily, especially on loose surfaces. So yeah, fantastic hydraulic brakes. Really like the hydraulic brakes over the cable brakes. My e-bike has got hydraulic brakes as well, and yeah, very different in terms of performance with the cable brakes. In terms of the control panel, it's very good. It's got all the basic information you need and it's not overly complex. I'm not a big gadget person, I prefer to just jump on and ride, but it does tell you everything you need to know, and it's got a good selection of different power levels, but not overly so. It's just a sensible number. It's got some other features as well. It's got auto lights, so the lights you can have set so they come on and off when it's dark, and it's also got a little horn on it as well. Yeah, maybe just for pedestrians. I'm not sure you'd hear that if you're inside another vehicle. And there are a few little negatives that I noted as well. The main thing is the weight of the bike. Now you do expect it to be heavy having 2 batteries as it does, but yeah, lifting it in and out of boots of cars could be an issue. It's quite difficult to manhandle around, especially if it's folded. It's sort of, yeah, not the most elegant of folding solutions. Having said that, I'm sure you could do it. The brakes I did find were a little bit squealy, but yeah, that's a relatively minor issue. It didn't really trouble me too much. And there was a slight rattle from the front end. I haven't quite tracked down what that is yet, but it didn't seem to affect the performance of the bike at all. So overall, a pretty good bike with a lot of quality features for the price, which I believe is around about $1,599 depending on where you buy it from. And I'm looking forward to a few more little adventures on this bike. Now if you'd like to get one for yourself, I will put an affiliate link in the description, and yeah, we'll see you again very soon in the next video.